Just a quick update on Trump's elections or the post-United States election. We are doing what we call the post-mortem 2020 United States elections for popular votes, electoral votes, and Senate and House of Representatives, all representatives. Now the question that we pose to the entire population is, can they hold on to the faith of their forefathers? Can Americans defend the constitution of the country? And can they hold on to their election integrity? Can the United States be the world beacon where democracy is concerned and rule of law is concerned? We are going to ask a couple of questions today, and beginning tomorrow, which is going to be 1st December as promised, we are going to do critical legal analysis of all the issues that Donald Trump has raised. Say free and fair elections are the lifeblood of our democracy. Charges of unfairness are serious, but calling an election unfair does not make it so. Charges require specific allegations and then proof. So we are asking everybody, look, after the general elections, this is what happened. In most cases, you expect the losing candidate to concede defeat or concede, that's it. Here is the case here. The certain president is on conceded defeat. Therefore, we're raising issue about the integrity of the elections. It's a president that raising issue about the elections. Or certain things I saw here. One. Whilst I was raising issue about the outcome of the elections, therefore, one thing we should all bear in mind is that it doesn't stop the GSA from embarking on the transition. 20th January, the transition is going to come on. That one, let's begin with that. The transition will come on. Donald Trump, president-elect, and Harris, the vice president-elect, will take over. But one thing we should understand is the mere fact that you saw per the projected results, it doesn't mean so big to mean legal issues. The legal issues Trump are raising. As it stands right now, about 30 of the claims or 30 of the complaints or filing, some has been dismissed. Majority of them has been dismissed, if I should put it that way. Some has been settled, and he has also won some of them in court. Most of the TROs were rejected. The OYOB are very observant. Now they've resorted to the various legislative body. What some of the states like Arizona, they did recounting in Atlanta, Georgia. They did recounting in Wisconsin. I think he's not doing too well with these states. But this is how, because look, the federal law governing the electoral process in this country, it mandates each state to regulate the elections as it is. In the states, in India, conducting elections, they have until December 14 to report to the House. Then, after certification of the results, then the House will satisfy the whole thing. Then, that's what Ghanaians will say it's been gazetted. Then, they move to so by January 20th, now, inauguration, say, Assembly, now, people bring in our Gore issue, say, our Gore, then President Bush. The United States Supreme Court ordered, 36 days for recounting. Bush very well. But here's the case, in as much as a electoral issue doesn't necessarily mean it's the same as Donald Trump. But what we are likely to see between Trump and His Excellency Joe Biden, and is no, Trump is coming out with a very serious allegation about electoral irregularities, fraudulent claims, Then also allege said even the computers going to use and it's not the right one. Like you use a word like a Soviet type. So now the court is going to look into it. He hasn't been too successful with state courts, But per almost civil procedure, you have to per the electoral system, you have to go through the state courts. Uko state courts now. Uko state courts, That's a state courts, Ulusi cases, or then put me appeal to the state Supreme Court. Not all the case and it is some of the cases and so Ulusi or what happens to you in say or resort to avenue through the state system and that's a failure. Then you go to the circuit courts. Mostly when we say circuit court, we're talking about the United States federal courts. The circuit courts are the same as the federal courts. So various federal courts now or no. Various federal courts are all no. Ube file suit or and I want who happened in Pennsylvania. He lost in the Pennsylvania federal court. Then he appeals to the appellate version of the federal court in the state of Pennsylvania. Now that one to a remedy. What is next? Now Trump and his legal team is heading to the United States Supreme Court, and that will be the final option for His Excellency Donald Trump. Assuming they are able to prove their claims or their complaint about all these allegations are from December 1st, you be Bremo 1111. You be analyze each of the claims, But at this point, one thing I mean treat you be and say, indeed, either you are alien, you are an legal immigrant, illegal immigrant, foreigner, or U.S. citizen. Look, Joe Biden, I will not forget this quotation from him. Also, democracy can be very messy. Indeed, it can be messy. This is the time SOBSIC patient. I don't understand why people have become very patient, but they want to practice democracy. Look, the basis of every democratic society, where I will be preaching on the foundation of rule of law. The next thing, a call for tolerance, democratic tolerance. Trump can't. Because the American system is well defined. Almost by year inauguration, all right. But the point is, go Supreme Court. This is what I want people to understand. See, it goes beyond human understanding. Okay. I only have confidence in their judicial system, and I have confidence in their democratic system. That is why I'm so confident. Say, irrespective, say my Excellency Joe Biden, that's almost finding out to say, indeed. The elections were fraudulent. Look, the United States Supreme Court can instruct, they will come out with orders. And these are some of the possibilities. Either say the elections in certain affected areas, you better run in the bill. Or it could be because someone is able to use your power, which will prevent Joe Biden from becoming president. There is another issue from December we were discussing whether the United States Congress, I'm referring to both the House of Senate and the House of Representatives, almost mandate to even declare Donald Trump as a commander-in-chief. That is also another issue you bet me looking into. That is the second option. But you see, as well, lose most of the cases in a state court, but that is not the end. I see that as a blessing in disguise, because it gives him the opportunity to go to the Supreme Court. Because once satisfy what you need to do at the initial stages, after United States Supreme Court, they will instruct you back. They will toss the case and instruct you back to come to the lower courts. His Excellency Donald Trump and any legal team, So look, it starts everything. But baby, you be brave finding difficulties. It's so impossible for the United States Supreme Court to instruct. Look, the executive side is done. The political side of the electoral system is done. That ends the political issue. Now, what it is there's another arm of the government that is going to take in charge, the legislative body, which is the United States Congress. That will be a second option for Trump and his people. The first option is now they are dealing with the judiciary. When they find out any remedy, you heard one Republican saying, the United States Congress, meaning the House of Representatives and the House of Senate, have the authority not to satisfy the outcome of the 2020 general election. Therefore, the governance system will be in limbo, meaning the power has now been given back to the House of Congress to decide who becomes the commander-in-chief of the 46th, or who becomes the 46th president of the United States. December going, which is from tomorrow going, we'll get into that. We'll talk much about the judicial aspect. Then we'll also talk much about the various claims or the but the sad thing may react to the happening. Certain respected lawyers out there, certain academicians, either their hate for the Republican Party or their hate for His Excellency Donald Trump, they've put in their academic coat aside, their legal coats aside. They don't know the evidence at the disposal of the man. Neither did they even know the facts the man has gathered. From long distance or per their own observation, they are concluding that Trump doesn't have any claim. Fine, why don't you leave him? Until December, we go to Congress to satisfy the elections. Just leave him. Give him that opportunity. What you assuming Graham say he's just wasting his money because it cost him almost $3 million to do the recount. But in Wisconsin, yesterday what happened? He lost. Why don't you afford him that opportunity? Why don't you afford him that opportunity? Look, I don't want to put certain names out. Some reputable lawyers from Ivy League law schools. There's a professor in Harvard. Those who question, he went to the extent of using a word like a jack. A jack wants to hijack the United States democratic system. Look, so be fighting for the rights. Not a winning Nipani issue. It doesn't necessarily mean say Nipani or derail the democratic practices of the country. We know how John Bolton is also moving around left and right on some of the anti-Trump media on CNN, bashing this man here and there. Look, it's not going to change the stand of the legal team. These people are very, very determined, and they know what they are doing. Yes, they really know what they are doing. It's not the old Becca and a back Trump and anything. No. Okay? I am holding on to the faith of the forefathers of this country. Look, Sir Trump will even delay the whole litigation is going to take forever, but I can say and say there's going to be an end to it. He started. Definitely there's going to be an end to it. I can't understand is that because this man is in question, therefore anything about him it should just come to an end. We don't just want to even afford him anything. People are not considering what he's saying. The media has already decided because after the election, the media wanted to just bulldoze their way, mount unnecessary pressure on him for him to accept the results. Look, even me bringing news to you. Let me put this out. I had a colleague friend who served in the U.S. Navy. He called me yesterday. He tested me, sent me here on board. So I asked him, what kind of help do you want to give me? I was being a bit sarcastic. I said, oh, who said, no, me post or me WhatsApp, me social media, and who said, like, me, a neuro issue, me, a mental issue to I said, oh, really? So I called him and said, look, do you understand what is happening? Look, people are so quick to judge. They don't allow processes to take place. Some use more personal feelings. Normally they ride over democratic processes. It doesn't work out that way. It does not. Forget about your feelings. Forget about your emotions. Won't to mean use your emotions to do legal analysis or interpretations. It is simple as that. Now, they are with the judiciary. Let's see what the outcome will be. With the states, they are failing so much in the state judiciary. The federal courts, they are failing with the federal courts too. And now with the appellate version of the federal court, they are failing. So their last resort is going to be the United States Supreme Court. And I believe when they fail there too, you can see them going to the House of Congress, both the House of the House of Senate and the House of Representatives. Now, some of them are even have requested hearing in various state legislative body. You share what is happening here.
we're all coming in to vote. And so I said, well, are you how long have you lived here? Is this your other precinct here? Well, I've lived here, or I've lived there. And they still were allowed to vote. Many of them were not residents for more than a month. Other people said they were registered in another state, but that they were here. And then, as I said, I think the nail in the coffin for me was when this poor little old homeless man, and I speak Spanish, so I spoke to him and said, how are you here? And he said, I was told to come vote. I want to vote. And I said, okay. Well, where do you live? And he goes, well, I lived in a shelter downtown. Well, downtown is 15 miles from where I live, so I'm sure that's not his precinct. He should be voting there.
So you thought there were about 2,000 like this, roughly?
I would say easily, just in the 5 hours that I was there, on one specific day, and that was on a Friday. They were going to be counted. They were being collected to be tabulated.
One last question. The gentleman who said he was there to turn Arizona blue.
Yes, that was a guy.
What was he? What was his official position?
He had a sign.
Was he an inspector of some kind?
No, he was a poll observer that was from California. He was from L.A. And on a break, I walked out there and I said hello and just walking, and he said hi. And I said, what are you doing? And he said, well, I'm a poll observer for the Democratic Party, and I'm here. I said, oh. And he goes, the weather's hot here. It's not as hot as it is at home. And I said, well, where are you from? And he said, I'm from California. And I said, what are you doing here? And he said, well, I'm here specifically to help turn this precinct blue. This is one of our problem ones. And I said, oh. And as I said to the panel over here, I don't know why he felt comfortable telling me that, but he said, and I said, you came all the way from LA? He goes, no, actually, I came from another precinct in Maricopa, where it was another one that we were focusing on, and now I'm here.
What was he doing? Was he campaigning? Was he encouraging people to vote for Biden?
Look, what we are seeing right now, right? Fine. A lot of media houses have teamed up to silence the truth. The battle between falsehood or deceit and truth is ongoing. So, Omuni claim the company. See what has happened in Arizona. The Arizona legislative body has granted them hearing. They are taking testimonies from people. So the states are doing their part. Let us not be swayed by what the mainstream media is doing for now. People will be very surprised. Let me be in the shoe of the Republicans and Donald Trump. Look, assuming, say, Americans need to determine, say, indeed, the elections were fraud. And from December 1st, we will come out with certain polls from the whole nation, over 300 million. How the general perception of the Americans where the 2020 general election is concerned.
You began doing that?
He was there, well, we started at 5 o'clock in the morning, just getting ready. So when I went out for a break, it was maybe around 10 o'clock, and he had been there. And I'm sorry, I don't remember what
I think his legal team has been very tactful, and he's been very patient. As much as how
another person came in to take over for him, and it was a yellow shirt with something written on the front.
Well, thank you very much for your service, your courage in testifying. I just make one point, Mr. Chairman. Her testimony alone, and I see no reason why she isn't telling the truth. By the way, she is under oath in the sense that she submitted an affidavit under penalties of perjury to what she just testified to.
Thank you, sir.
And 34,000 votes unobserved would change the nature of the election. Just her testimony.
Indeed it would.
One witness.
Sir, thank you very much.
Yes.
These are the issues. They build your cases. The various testimonies are a free states in Ibadan. That's what they are using to build their cases. Okay.
It is now 12:15. I expect this hearing at the rate that we're going. We will be here until late.
From December 1st, we'll start the Trump legal analysis. That tomorrow is going to be the first segment. We talked about it. We'll do projections, what is likely to happen at the United States Supreme Court, When the United States Supreme Court, they are able to persuade them, what happens? Will they cancel the whole elections? Is it going to affect His Excellency President-elect Joe Biden's election? Assuming they go to the United States Supreme Court and they didn't get any remedy, can the House, both the Senate and the House of Representatives, decide who becomes the next commander-in-chief of the United States Armed Forces? Upon this, we will end the next section. Just watch out or look out for tomorrow.
But
Do be glad so I say for watching.
Our fathers chained in prisons dark were still in heart and conscience free.
How sweet would be their children's fate if they, like
Election integrity is very, very important. Let us defend the Constitution of the country. Let us look beyond partisan interests. Being a Democrat or being a Republican, it doesn't matter at this point. Let's hold on to the United States Constitution till death. You can practice democracy for over 200 years, and this issue, you don't want the other side to be heard. You should be given the opportunity. It even strengthens and legitimized the victory of the president-elect, Joe Biden. Let's do news again with Emmanuel Acheampong. Over the week, something break up. You're looking to start issue very quick concerning the Iran there.